All right. If you've ever worked in networking, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've got this great idea, maybe a new design to test, or you're cramming for a certification. So what do? You fire up GNS3 or EVNG, and then the drudgery begins. You're dragging icons, you're drawing little lines, you're waiting for VMs to boot up, and then comes the real fun. Manually typing in every single IP address, VLAN, and routing protocol. I mean, hours can go by, right? And if you're lucky, then you can finally get to the actual work you wanted to do in the first place. But what if you could just skip all of that tedious setup?
No, seriously, just take a second and think about it. How many hours of your life have you lost to just building the lab? Not even doing the lab, just building it. And then you find a typo in an IP address and you spend another hour troubleshooting the setup, not the technology you're trying to learn. It's this universal pain point, right? This massive time suck that we've all just kind of accepted as part of the job. But what if I told you we don't have to accept it anymore?
Okay, so let's just put this side by side for a second. On the left, you've got the old way, the manual way with GNS3 or EVNG. We're talking hours of clicking, so many chances for human error, and forget trying to get a coworker to build the exact same lab. It's almost impossible. But then you look over on the right. This is the Netlab way. We're talking minutes to launch, not hours. It's perfectly consistent and repeatable every single time. It's super easy to share, you just send a text file, and the whole configuration, the provisioning, it's all automated.
And this quote right here, it hits the nail on the head. The whole point of a lab isn't the setup, right? It's about learning, it's about testing. Netlab's entire philosophy is built around this idea. Let's automate all of that boring, tedious stuff so you can get right to the business of actually doing the lab. It's about getting you to your destination fast.
So, the big question is, how does it pull this off? Well, it's all about embracing a concept that has totally transformed the rest of the IT world, treating your infrastructure as code. And in this case, your network lab is your infrastructure. This is really the new way, the modern way, to think about building and managing networks.
So this core concept is called Infrastructure as Code, or IAC for short. And the idea is pretty simple, really. Instead of clicking around in a GUI or plugging in cables and typing on a console, you just describe what you want in a simple text file, a file that a computer can read. And I want to be clear, this isn't just some passing trend. It's a massive shift in how we do things, all aimed at getting more automation, more consistency, and way, way more speed. Okay, so what do these files actually look like? Are we talking about complex code here? Nope. They're written in something called YAML. And if you've never heard of YAML, please don't let that scare you. It was literally designed to be easy for humans to read. There's no complicated programming logic. It's all about just describing your network, nice and clean, in a structured text file. Really, the best way to think about it is like this. That YAML file, it's the blueprint for your entire network lab. It becomes your single source of truth. In that one file, you describe everything: the routers, the switches, how they're linked together, what VLANs you need, even what OSPF areas you want to set up. You just write the blueprint, and Netlab acts like the expert construction crew that comes in and builds it for you, perfectly, every single time. Okay, this all sounds awesome in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in practice? Let's dive in and see how we go from just a plain text file to a fully functioning, ready-to-use network topology. Because honestly, this is where the real magic happens. And you know what? The whole workflow is so simple, it's almost beautiful. It's just 3 steps. 1, you define your lab and that YAML file we've been talking about. 2, you pop open a terminal and launch it with one single command, netlab up. And 3, you connect. You can SSH or console right into your fully configured devices. That's it. Define, launch, connect. Done. And the really powerful part is what goes inside that definition file. This isn't just about saying connect router A to switch B. Oh no. You're defining the specific nodes you want, maybe some Arista switches, a couple of Cisco routers. You define the links, and then you can use pre-built modules to configure entire protocols like VLANs, BGP, or OSPF. It's incredibly powerful. So once you've written that blueprint, this is it. This is the magic wand. One command, netlab up. No more dragging, no more dropping, no more clicking. You just type that, hit enter, and all the automation just kicks into high gear. It reads your file, spins up the devices, and pushes all those initial configs for you. So you might be wondering, how can one little command do all that? Well, Netlab is basically a really smart orchestrator. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's standing on the shoulders of giants. Under the hood, it's using amazing, powerful open source tools that you might already know, like ContainerLab or LibVirt to actually create the virtual devices, and then it uses Ansible to do all the heavy lifting of configuring them exactly how you described in your YAML file.
Okay, so it's a cool tool, it saves you a bunch of time. Got it. But I really want to stress that the impact here is so much bigger than just that. Using a tool like Netlab isn't just about changing your workflow. It has real, tangible benefits, both for what you're doing today and for where your career is going tomorrow. So let's talk about why this really matters to you.
Right out of the gate, the benefits are huge. First off, reproducibility. This is a game changer. You can build a lab, tear it down, and then a month later, bring back the exact same environment with one command. Or even better, you can send that little text file to a teammate and they can spin up the identical lab on their machine. You can also scale up or down so easily, go from 2 routers to 20 just by changing a number. All of this means your testing gets so much faster. And you can mix and match vendors, Arista, Cisco, Juniper, to build labs that actually look like the real world. Because let's face it, that's what we all work in.
And where do people actually use this? Well, pretty much everywhere. For anyone studying for certifications, it is an absolute game changer. You can build and rebuild specific CCNA or CCNP lab topologies in seconds. It's also absolutely essential for pre-deployment testing. You can build a clone of your production environment, test your changes safely, and be confident before you touch anything live. And for the security folks out there, it's an amazing way to build sandboxes to simulate attacks and test out your defenses. But let's just zoom out for a second, beyond the day-to-day. The long-term career benefits here are, I would argue, even more important. When you learn to use a tool like Netlab, you're not just learning a tool. You are learning the principles of infrastructure as code. You're learning a DevOps mindset. These are precisely the skills that companies are desperate for, especially in cloud-focused roles. Being able to put experience with automated network provisioning on your resume, that makes you a much more valuable, much more future-proof network engineer.
So let's just end with this thought. Our production networks, they're getting more automated, more complex, and more code-driven every single day. The old way of doing things, manually clicking and configuring, it just isn't sustainable. So the real question you have to ask yourself is this. As your network evolves to meet these modern demands, is your lab environment, the very place where you're supposed to test, learn, and prepare for that future, is it actually keeping up?